วัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ Have a good Friday morning with us with Good Morning with Thai PBS World. I'm Hatay Deshakitiranan.
And I'm Nab Brunei, and kick-starting the program today with the hot issue in Thailand at the moment, it's a shocking police brutality that killed one drug suspect, and it has been confirmed that the main suspect involved in the alleged killing had been arrested last night. So yesterday, Police Colonel Titisan Uttanapol surrendered himself to police in Chonburi. During the press conference last night, he said that he did not aim to kill him and it was an accident, and he also denied that he had been trying to extort 2 million baht of money, claiming that he was just trying to extract information on drugs. At the same time, the National Police Chief Suwat Dangyot-suk told reporters that they will show the public that they will not protect any of the wrongdoers.
And joining us to shed some light on the incident this morning is Kun Sunai Phasuk, a senior researcher on Thailand at Human Rights Watch. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ Good morning to you.
Hi, thank you for joining us today. So the strong public backlash is attributed to a whistleblower leaking a video that has gone viral. But what about other cases of such police brutality that we probably haven't even heard of, and such wealth as well? So is it common from your experience?
Torture in police custody, especially in the context of anti-drug operation, is very common in Thailand. Each year there are cases reported to Human Rights Watch and other human rights groups. But the problem is what happened in Nakhon Sawan, it just happened in front of camera, and the footage was later leaked, creating public outcry and anger, prompting reaction from the Royal Thai Police. But in other cases, there was no witnesses, there was no evidence, there was no footage. And families of the victim or the victims themselves who survived the torture were too scared to report their ordeals. So this is only a tip of a very big iceberg in Thailand that need to be addressed seriously and thoroughly.
And now that all of these suspects have been arrested, but based on last night's press conference, do you think justice will really be served, seeing how the rich and powerful often get away with such crimes?
The police press conference last night was, to me, an insult to the Thai public. It was not about reporting the progress of police investigation and what will be the direction of the investigation, but rather providing an opportunity to the prime suspect in this case, the one who ordered and committed torture, to provide his excuses, which were rather lame to the public, and who do they think they are trying to fool? Thai people are not that stupid. What happened last night at the police conference did not give any confidence that justice will be delivered in this case.
Thank you. And Kun Sunai, people are talking about the need for police reform. So do you see that happening at all, especially if we consider the army reform talk before as well, and considering the main suspect, so much wealth. And if such reform is going to take place, what do you think should be changed first?
First of all, this government, this prime minister came into office with major promises to initiate reforms of the military and the police. We have already seen that promises regarding military reform have become a flop. Nothing had really happened.
One more question.
And with that, I don't have any confidence at all that we would see any serious action regarding police reform. Let's not forget that as the Prime Minister of Thailand, General Prayut is directly in charge of the Royal Thai Police. 7 years have passed, he has done nothing. Do you think he's going to do it now? No.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight today and have a good morning.
The same to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we will have to wait and see whether justice will really be served for this time round.
Exactly. And now let's talk about COVID-19 vaccines. We mentioned yesterday, though, that the new vaccination plan where children aged 12 to 18 will also be inoculated with Pfizer. But let's now take a look at some of the side effects. Recently, King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital published the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine among children on its website. The most common undesirable side effects among children are pain in the injected area, fatigue, and headaches. Other side effects include fever, shivering, nausea, vomiting, muscle pains, and joint pains. Inflammation of heart muscles were found at very low rates. And based on research, Pfizer has high efficacy against COVID-19, where it can increase immunity levels among children to the same levels as people aged 16 to 25. And so far, Pfizer, which is an mRNA vaccine, is the only vaccine allowed to be used among children, as other types of vaccines are not recommended yet. So this is to keep in mind that the big lot of Pfizer vaccine, which is 30 million doses that has been ordered by the government, will reach the country in just a couple of months. And Kunal, I believe, has some explainers and infographics for you when it comes to food delivery during this time of partial lockdown.
That's right, Kun Hatai, and we have to admit that during the partial lockdown, where many people are forced to stay at home and work from home as well, ordering food from delivery apps has become an essential part for our daily lives. And today we have some interesting information to share with you about the current demand for food delivery, including the most popular dishes being ordered through delivery apps. As you're seeing right behind me, apart from coffee, tea, and chocolate drinks, these are the Thai food staples that made to the list. So we have something like tampu para, or the spicy papaya salad with fermented fish and salty crabs. And there's also roasted pork on skewers, or mu ping, as well as a favorite for breakfast, pa thong ko, or the deep fried donuts as well. And the average price of these items being ordered is around only 60 to 70 baht. And let's take a look at the days as well. And as many people, particularly those living in the COVID-19 dark red zones, having to work from home, so there's the need to order food online, and that has increased substantially. So according to Line Man, one of the food delivery services in Thailand, more orders are being placed than ever before. And as you can see, Fridays and weekends see the highest number of orders, especially around lunchtime. So the peak hours are around 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And another peak would be during dinner, which is around 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And another time would be 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we can see that these are the peak times where most food orders have been made. And if we look at the areas where in Bangkok that ordered the most food during delivery through delivery apps. So people in Chatuchak area and La Krabang area ordered the most food compared to Pathumwan and Watana districts. They used to be the top areas, but now it's these two areas on the suburbs of Bangkok. And if we look at the age group that orders the most food, students and first jobbers aged 20 to 24 place the most orders, followed by those aged 30 and those aged 25 to 29 as well. And due to the ongoing COVID-19 restrictions, many of the restaurants cannot open for dining in. Therefore, they can only rely on delivery services as their main source of income, leading to a revenue increase for the food delivery sector. And according to Kasikorn Research Center, they predicted that food delivery business this year will grow up to 18.4 to 24.4%, or an estimated of 53 to 55 billion baht. And And as for the number of food orders, it is expected that this year would be around 120 million orders compared to 2 years ago. So that is threefold increase as well. So we can see that this is a very high demand right here, and the increase in online food orders also means that there's an intensified competition as well, prompting many of the delivery operators to adapt quickly to attract more customers as well as to maintain their market share as well. Kun Hatai.
Well, that's really useful information indeed, and actually you already made me hungry and I already ate, Kunat.
Well, at least you have an idea what you would like to have for lunch as well.
Exactly, and thank you for that. And moving on now to other stories in our daily roundup. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, will be launching its mobile vaccination services to people living in various communities in the capital. The blue buses have medical equipment, including a fridge for the storage of vaccines, first aid kits, stretchers, a portable AED, and will be staffed by a doctor, nurses, and other health officials. And the BMA plans to vaccinate as many people as it can as quickly as possible.
Meanwhile, the Thai Red Cross Society is asking the public to donate blood urgently, saying that hospitals are experiencing a critical shortage of blood reserves for patients, forcing the postponement of many vital surgeries. The director of the National Blood Center of the Thai Red Cross Society said the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a substantial drop in blood donations. Normally, an average of 200,000 units of blood are needed every day by hospitals, but only 149,000 units of blood were donated back in July.
And the Thai Room Jai scheme has announced new vaccination appointments for those who will be receiving second doses of AstraZeneca and were previously inoculated with the first dose since June. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education, Science, Research and Innovation revealed that around 28 million people across the country have been vaccinated against COVID-19 so far. However, only 9.7% of the entire population have been fully vaccinated.
Turning to politics, the date for the censure debate has been decided, which is from next Tuesday to Friday, with the no confidence votes against the Prime Minister and 5 other ministers set on Saturday. The opposition would focus their debate and motion on the government's handling of the current wave of the pandemic, as well as the economic fallout. This will be the third no confidence motion against the second Prayut administration, where all ministers survived both motions. So we will have to wait and see whether the Prime Minister and other ministers will survive again in the next censure debate. But it is very likely that they might survive because the government side remains the majority.
Exactly, but at least I think it's a good exercise of a democracy where things can still be questioned and debated.
Exactly, and now it's time for some lighter stories. During times where we are at home, this would be a great opportunity to spend more time with your family. And this family in Ayutthaya decided to make their own remote control boats together so that their son takes some time away from his phone. Let's find out more in this report by Kun Kittipat Chun Sukjit.
When a child wants to have the remote control boat, most parents would just buy them at the toy store. This family in Ayutthaya, however, is a bit different, as the father built the boat himself, and later on, he built some for sale too.
Amnat and his 9-year-old son, Ning, are working on the remote control boat together, trying to finish building it to play with it on the pond. This is his first boat which he built for his son.
ปกติหนูก็ชอบมาวาดรูปเป็นรถมอเตอร์ไซค์อย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็ ชอบพ่อเคยทำเรืออันนี้ให้ แล้วก็มาวาดรูปให้พ่อดูเป็นรูปเรืออย่างเงี้ยครับ แล้วก็พ่อก็ค่อยๆทำพ่อก็หาซื้อไม้มาทำครับ
แต่ก่อนเขาชอบดูโทรศัพท์ ผมก็จะบังคับเขาให้เขาดูเป็นเวลาพอให้เขาดูเป็นเวลาปุ๊บเขาไม่มีโทรศัพท์เขาจะไปหาอันนู้นมาเล่น หาอันนี้มาเล่น เอากระดาษมาตัดเป็นรูปเรือเป็นรอยน้ำผมก็นั่งดูลูกแล้วก็ก็เกิดไอเดียขึ้นครับหาไม้มาทำให้เขาหาไม้มาทำเลยทีแรกเรียนรู้จากก็ลองผิดลองถูกเนี่ยครับดูในของจริงมามากครับใน YouTube ที่มีแบบเรือแข่งอะไรแบบนี้นั่นแหละก็เลยเราก็จำจากของจริงแล้วก็มาทำเป็นจำลองครับทำลำแรกเลยก็จะเป็นแบบลำเนี้ย
ไหนดูลำแรกหน่อยครับ
ลำแรกที่ทำออกมาก็จะยังวิ่งไม่ได้ครับก็คือว่าแบบช่วงเนี้ยมันจะต้องสูงกว่านี้ฮะมันจมน้ำไงแล้วช่วงนี้มันก็จะเล็กไปแล้วก็เปลี่ยนมาเรื่อยเปลี่ยนมาก็จะมาเป็นแบบเรือพวกนี้ครับก็จะเริ่มมาใหญ่หน่อยก็มาติดตั้งยาวแล้วก็ยังแบบว่าประมาณนี้ฮะแล้วก็เริ่มทำมาเรื่อยๆเป็นเรือมีหลังคาเป็นเรือหางยาวครับเรือรับผู้โดยสารพวกนั้นก็เริ่มทำเล่นมาแล้วก็มีคนขอซื้อไป
Amnat is a full-time employee at the Department of Drainage and Sewerage. He built these boats in his spare time, and it takes him around 2 weeks to finish one. To date, he has sold more than 100 remote control boats. Most of his clients contact him via Facebook.
ก็เรือลำหนึ่งถ้ามีเวลาให้เขาจริงๆเลยวันหนึ่งก็ขึ้นเป็นรูปร่างได้ครับแล้วก็มาเสริมความสวยงามใส่สีใส่อะไรก็จะอยู่ประมาณ2 อาทิตย์ครับ2 อาทิตย์ก็ตากแดดให้สีแห้งสีอะไรประมาณนี้ใช่ครับก็พร้อมติดตั้งได้ก็จะอยู่ประมาณเกือบครึ่งเดือนนะครับเรือลำหนึ่งเพราะว่าต้องใช้เวลาเก็บรายละเอียดนิดนึงเพราะว่ารายละเอียดเยอะครับใช่ถ้าต้องทำให้แบบสวยอย่างเงี้ยให้ออกมาเหมือนจริงเลยครับ
Just talking with them is not enough. So what's better than bring them with me here and you see play with the remote control boat together at the pond. And he said that the max speed of the remote control boat is around 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. So you can see that.
He said the advantage of building the remote control boat is the valuable time it gives him with his son, and if his son likes this hobby, he said his son can just continue building them by himself. Gitipatil Sukjit reporting for Thai PBS World.
So this is definitely a great idea to strengthen the bond within the family, but we have to admit that we've been spending too much time on our phones, on social media, to a point that we forgot to appreciate the time being with our loved ones.
Exactly, Kunad, and this is very creative indeed. And of course, we news people are actually as much guilty as it can be when it comes to this habit of being on our phones a lot.
Definitely, we're on our iPads, iPhones, on all these things, all of these new technologies all the time. And sometimes we forgot to appreciate things around us, or even like birds singing, the rain, all these things. These are the beautiful things that sometimes we took for granted because we're too focused on the new technologies and chatting with other people.
Exactly. And Kunad, speaking of the case, we actually still following on the killing of a drug suspect. It was actually good to hear from an expert like Kun Sunai as well, who shed some light of the system. But we'll have to wait and see if justice will really be served.
Definitely, this is in the public interest right now, so definitely we will have to wait and see whether the suspect will really be held accountable.
Exactly. And with that, we wrap up today's program, but be sure to catch us every weekday at 7:30 a.m. and follow our social media and website at www.thaipbsworld.com for all the top stories, explainers, and analysis, as well as all these kinds of interviews.
Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ